Okay, so previously we had just wrapped up the class Aves. We make our final approach for the last class. There's more content to follow. Okay, so with that, what is everything you can tell me that you think you might know about what you see up here when it pertains to these animals? Anything at random that might stick out in your mind that you've learned from elementary to middle school to early high school to now junior and senior level class of zoology. Okay, mammals have hair or fur, whichever way you want to look at it. So how you might distinguish between them two is, to me, fur would be much shorter, because when you look at many dogs, you'd say that's hair. When you look at cats, I think we would presume that, yeah, that is what we call fur. So one is going to have an overlapping ability of hair instead of fur. Anything else? Do they have anything in common with birds? Yes, they do. What might that be? Especially that of circulation. When we're talking about circulation, we're talking about blood flow. What does that have to do with mammals? We're talking about blood flow. How does it get from one part of the body to the other? That's part of it. Goes through blood vessels. But that's actually in the blood, but something has to move it through. The heart does that. How many chambers? How many chambers? How many chambers? Okay, four-chambered heart, just like that of the birds. Okay, and what about metabolism? It's very high, because unlike that of the birds, we find these types of animals, you could presume or say, on all 7 continents, which would mean a quick geography lesson, and I could get this wrong too. North and South America is 2, Australia is 3, Africa's 4. What else? Did I say that already? Okay, Australia would be 5. Antarctica is 6. I think I said Australia right. North and South America, Australia is 3, Africa is 4, Antarctica could be 5, and we got 2 left. Europe would be 6, and Asia would be your 7th and final continent. You find these animals on each and every one of those continents, unlike that of the birds. With maybe one notable exception, that of the penguins. Maybe I should be a little more careful when we make that assertion. But nonetheless, metabolism is quite high. We don't have a whole lot to go through, but we'll just get a brief introduction here. So as we had said before, they've got a very high metabolism. Okay, some of these chambered heart. Okay, and a very well-developed respiratory system, because again, these animals are endothermic rather than ectothermic and or cold-blooded. So when we look at this, a secondary hard palate, the reason that would be led to believe this is important is because it allows that oral cavity to become bigger, because we also have a hard palate as well. And not only that, but as far as do mammals chew or just bite materials off. Okay, so when that is taking place, that type of different types of food particles are pressed up against that hard pellet, helps break things down so they can be digested a little easier. Okay, and then let's see here. I know it's just one slide, like I mentioned. I don't have a whole lot to go through because I'm led to believe that FCCLA will be back tomorrow. I would be led to believe because there's a track meet. At least I would think so. If not, they're probably going straight from there to the track meet. Okay. Oh, next slide. Huh. Man, that must decide to put them all up in the corner. This is just a new type of design I decided to put in place, so that way I can tell the difference between the color of the backgrounds. So at the time of the dinosaurs, at the very later portion of the Jurassic era, because I always got to think about how, let's see here, you had the Cambrian explosion, then the Devonian period, then that's where it gets to be a little hazy. Then I think it was the Carboniferous period, then the Cretaceous era, and then at the late Cretaceous, then the Triassic area showed up, then the Jurassic time frame, which is probably the most notorious because that's when the dinosaurs were around. And these animals were still present or became present at the same time of the dinosaurs. But there really weren't a whole lot of them, because why would they possibly be small-sized mammals as opposed to that of dinosaurs? Because where would you find these animals? Above the ground or below the ground? Below the ground. They were burrowing types of creatures. So then, one of the aspects that's also important when it comes to these animals, if they were small, probably came out at night. Why would that be an advantage to come out at night as opposed to the daytime? Yeah, you're probably not going to succumb to predation because it's much safer at night than it would be in that of the daytime. And being small would be an advantage for that, and being able to burrow is going to be an advantage. So then hunting at night, probably fed upon insects would be the most logical conclusion for that. And so being small is an advantage. And a large cranium. So what that means is if the cranium is becoming larger, in this case this is that of a human, okay, these magnets don't work too well anymore. But with this is the cranium that we see here. So if this structure becomes enlarged, there's more area to fit what inside of it? A brain, okay? So then that's an advantage to having an enlarged cortex, because mammals are very well known to be that of problem solvers, okay? And then a shearing action, okay? That would probably be the teeth up front, which are known as what? Starts with an I, possibly remember. These are incisors. Then teeth were replaced once and then became more permanent. And then I think you call them deciduous teeth. And these are then going to be adapted for their various types of diets. All right. I think that's a good place to stop for today. I said we wouldn't have a whole lot to go through, and that is certainly the case. So tune in next time. I thought we might like that. So tune in next time. We'll continue with this content. Again, there is more to follow from this handout. This is just a very basic start. We'll catch up to you next time.